As you may know, we have held over our special tours of the Crossroads Center and of the Old Testament Tabernacle and the replica of the Shroud of Turin, held it over for another month because of the popularity, and we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to come and visit. And of course, the main attraction is this Old Testament Tabernacle I'm standing in right now, and I'm standing next to the man who's portraying the high priest. He's been here all summer, Rick Hebert. Thank you for all you've been doing and really helping us to understand what goes on here.
Good morning, Ron.
Now, Rick, tell us a little bit about the high priest. And in fact, people will be saying, what's that he's wearing? Maybe just some of the articles of clothing.
Well, the high priest, there's really 3 layers of garments. I'm wearing a linen tunic with a robe and an ephod over that. And the ephod has the 12 stones representing the 12 tribes of Israel. The ruby, for instance, represents Judah. And Simeon is the emerald. Reuben is the sapphire, and so forth. And then I'm wearing a turban and the mitre.
And then on the mitre, there's some Hebrew writing there. What does that say?
Holy is the Lord.
Okay. And so as the high priest, you were really representing all of the tribes and doing things in the tabernacle here on behalf of the tribes, which are all represented on the stones. And so maybe explain some of the actual duties of the high priest that you've been portraying all summer.
Well, we start out, I bring in a dish of blood and we anoint the horns of the brazen altar. And then we move to the laver and I wash ceremonial cleansing, washing my hands and so forth. The original priest would have washed his feet, but I don't jump up and do that as well. Mm-hmm. We just do the hands. Then we go inside the holy place. I light the lampstand, say a prayer, go over to the table of showbread, say a prayer, and also at the altar of incense, say a prayer.
And then the final very special place in the tabernacle is the Holy of Holies. And then you go in there and...
Well, I don't do it myself, although that's what the high priest would have done in his day. But that's where the guides take the groups in, and they have a moment there to reflect over the ark and to reflect on all of the spiritual significance of the ark. And it's a very moving experience for many people. We've seen groups just in spontaneous worship raise a song or prayer. We had a group here last week hold a Bible study in our chapel, and it was a fabulous thing to be a part of.
And there have been school groups come through. What a great experience for an outing for a class to come out and go back in history and see this.
And the kids are fantastic. They come in and they're so awe-inspired. You think that they would be talking and moving and fidgeting. They are just like so respectful. They just it's like an awe experience for them. And I just love the children. They're great.
Now, Rick, there are so many symbols that are here, and as we look at them, and as we look at the Bible, and as we look at the New Testament teachings, they point to Jesus. And so maybe we won't take time to go through the full explanation. I know you take time in the next tent next door to the tabernacle to explain further for the groups that come, but maybe just a couple of those items.
Well, the lampstand, for instance, it's representing God creating light and so forth, and it never went out. It was never permitted to go out. There were always priests serving in the holy place to make sure that the light was always lit and that the table of incense, altar of incense, was always burning. So the lights represent Christ as the light of the world, and on the table of showbread, of course, Jesus said, "I am the bread of life," and he made that connection, and when the rabbis asked him, Moses gave us manna in the wilderness, what will you do? And Jesus said, "I am the bread of life." And so it's there's very significant, just the very arrangement of the furnishings themselves. If you were to look from on top, they form a cross. And that's very significant, thousands of years before Christ even came, that God had already ordained that should be part of it.
And of course, he became the ultimate sacrifice for all of our sins, and the great high priest, representing all of us. So for those who have been maybe putting it off, you've been wanting to come out and see the Tabernacle exhibit, now's your chance. You can still come till September the 30th. And so get in touch with us, get your ticket, or just show up at those times when we're operating, and you can get your ticket at the door as well. And so thank you for coming out, and thank you, Rick, for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, so make sure you come on out.